how do you know when to go pro, one, and then how do you do that, Nick?
Sign up for the PDGA as a professional, and you just went pro disc golf.
Well, technically,
just kidding. Well, actually, technically, yeah, that is true.
And John, this portion of the show here, we're just going to be rapid fire. If you have a point, cut us off. Okay, we may stop at some point to invent it. Yeah, just
jump in. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. All manners completely just jumped out the window. We are going Nick and Matt show after dark.
So Nick, you are in the process, Nick, of what I would consider trying to make your way onto the tour. Like, that's your process, okay? Yeah. You've played in a handful of disc golf pro tour events. I think you've played in a national tour event.
I don't think I have yet.
No?
No.
Maple Hill at one point was.
But I didn't play it back then. Okay. I think I've skipped over national tours, but I have played Worlds in 2018. So...
Okay. So you're trying. Am I describing accurately?
Yeah, I really want to go to Hall of Fame Classic. That is like 100% a bucket list tournament to go to.
So that's a tournament.
Yeah. Yep.
But you as a person, you've been playing for a while, and at some point you decided, I don't want to stay in the AM division. I want to continue to get better and play pro. I'm just going to clarify for the sake of description of players, it's not that I don't want to play the best that I can, but in my mind, I don't believe I have the time or the life situations right now for me to ever go pro. So like, that's the difference in players here. Like, I do not think that will happen for me. And I don't, would I like to play the best I can? Yes, I'll say that again, but I'm not planning or trying to go pro or on the tour. You are in a different boat, and that's the player we're talking about, the player like Nick. Now, you just hung out down in Virginia.
Yep.
And I'm pretty sure you were with the best disc golfer in the world and another player who has decided recently to go pro named Brodie Smith. Now, has he achieved in 6 months or a year's time what you've been trying to do for years?
That's weird. Well, it only took him 72 days to get on a feature card at a pro tour event. I think it took me 6 years. I think I've been playing for 6 years when I won the AM side and played feature card. No, I'm just kidding. But seriously, no, Brodie's done a ton of really accomplishing things into our sport, and he's one of, and I'll say this hot take real quick, Brodie is one of the few people in the sport, especially at that professional level, that are taking it beyond seriously. You know, and I see it, and I see people out there, there could be random people in the US that I don't know, obviously, but Brodie's out there grinding. You know, Brodie wakes up, and he hasn't posted much on YouTube because he wants to just solely focus on getting better at disc golf. And, you know, when I was down there last week, just a few days ago, I just drove back. We would go out and play the course that Paul designed, the course that they're having the tournament at. Brodie doesn't get to play those courses down in Texas. And so all of a sudden, this whole new area of disc golf was just introduced to him. And all he wants to do is go out and get better at that course. You know, that's the kind of disc golf he wants to do. And so he's out there grinding to do that. Brodie obviously has a natural ability of throwing a regular Frisbee. He was incredible. He was the best ultimate player in the world at one point. Throwing a disc golf disc and a Frisbee, I know, is two completely different things, but he has the talent. He has the athletic build to really push forward, and he knows what it takes to be a professional. It's crazy because he's been at that point. This is coming from him. This is coming from other people. I don't know the ultimate world very well, but Brodie at one point supposedly was the top ultimate player. And him and I were talking about that. We were like, how do you get to that point? What do you do to do that? And he said, he was like, look, when we did practices, we were doing 3 days of track practice. They were in the gym every single day. Days that they weren't doing those two things, they were, Brodie was practicing shots all the way down the field. He was practicing his hammers. He was practicing patent pending backhands to a player running downfield. It's incredible. A lot of the people that I know trying to make it in the pro scene or that are already in the pro scene are not working as hard as what other top athletes are doing in their respected sports. And I'm sorry, but that's just a fact.
Don't be sorry. I think you're right.
I'm not. I'll say that right now. I'm not working as hard as I should be. And just going down there this last weekend, one of the reasons I go down to Virginia is obviously to see my all-time best friends. I go down there and have a good time. I get to play disc golf with incredible people, but it's kind of like a motivator because I watch Paul play disc golf and it is just easy to him. He throws the disc far, putts going from 45 feet, dead center chains 4 times in a row. And I'm just like, that looks amazing to do. What is it like being able to do that? And so then I come back home and I say, you know what? I got to put in the work. Paul put in the work. Brodie is putting in the work. I got to make sure that I am putting in the work myself. So
that was John. That was Nick's. I love when Nick just takes the show away like that because he's got.
People always tell me
say.
I need to talk. People always say I got to talk more.
He does.
That was all very well said and right on. And you're hanging out with guys who exemplify all that. I'd say if you want to be a top ultimate player in the world, you have to be an unbelievable athlete, and that's starting to translate over into disc golf. I think ultimate throwing skills probably translate over into disc golf a little more than you might think. I mean, I've played ultimate my whole life, and there is more of an overlap. But when it comes to being pro, there are a lot of things that golf does really well, and why wouldn't they? They have a 400-year head start on us, but we're maybe just now starting to get to the point where you can turn pro because there's a financial incentive for you to do that, right? The whole history, well, not the whole history. When I started playing, I went pro right away because there was no such thing as amateur, right? Yeah. There was only the one division, and winners got money, so we were all pros. But it's been peer pressure up until just recently, where the PDJs made some good decisions, and things have happened economically in the sport where if somebody is 1,000 rated or close to it and they want to stay an amateur for the rest of their life, they can do it, right? Which happens in golf. But in golf, why would you? Because you're that good. You can be making a lot of money and doing golf for a living. And we're starting to get to that point. So that whole, when do you do it? Why do you do it? Is just starting to become a lot easier in disc golf than it's ever been.
So